Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Final Bet. March Madness is down to the Final Four. Unfortunately for our state, we only had one team make the tournament. That was McNeese. They got knocked out early. But to talk things all basketball, we're bringing Scott Kushner from the Polk and Kush podcast, and, of course, Garland Gillen. Have you enjoyed the tournament so far? I enjoyed one game in particular.
Yeah.
One game in particular. Duke getting beat. Okay, I'm good now.
You love the last 10 seconds at least.
I'm good.
You really enjoyed that, yeah. No, it's always a great tournament. People always find some angle in the first couple days. Oh, the tournament's not the same. The tournament's great. There's enough games, and they are also meaningful, and any particular win can change the whole complexion of it. It's always great, and this year's been great. And there's a couple down hours, but not a down tournament. Yeah.
Well, when you remember where you are for play, like I was outside of a restaurant right to go into a reservation at 6:30 on Sunday, and I saw the end of UConn Duke. When like 20 years from now, I'll remember being in the parking lot, in the Bywater, on my phone, watching that right before I go in. So it gave us a moment. Maybe we'll get another one come, but like that's up there with MJ in the 80s and some other big-time plays. Leitner, you'll remember for the rest of your life.
For the record, that was my one shining moment.
What was that?
For the record.
Oh.
Let's get to tonight's opening line. Will Wade returning to LSU. Is UNO close to returning to the big dance? And a little Pelicans offseason talk as well. Will Wade, though, back at LSU. First off, you like the move by the Tigers to make what was old new again?
Yeah, he was a product of bad circumstances. The reason he was gone is not because of his coaching performance. Yeah. The reason he was gone is because he got caught up in something that is now completely legal. Yeah. You know, it's there. You know, if they legalize,
he was a visionary.
He was a visionary. he was sloppy, but he was not doing anything that most people weren't doing. And now it's completely legal. It's not as if he was, they weren't doping, they weren't doing anything like that. They were paying players, and then within 2 years, you could pay the players. The athletic director came in, and Scott Woodward. They obviously didn't want to deal with it. They moved on, and since then, the men's basketball program has become completely irrelevant at LSU. I went to a couple games this year. There's nobody there, and it should not be that way at LSU. You pack the gym for women's basketball. You pack the gym for gymnastics. You have to be able to have a relevant men's basketball program. They have the budget. They're spending God knows how much money on football and baseball and everything in between. You can win with Will Wade, and they know they can. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, Matt McMahon just didn't have the sizzle. I know he came in when they worried about the program going on probation. They never did, though. And, well, let's be honest. We don't talk about LSU men's basketball at all. It has completely been forgotten by us. And now that we're talking about men's basketball here in early April is quite a testament to the excitement that Will Wade brings back in the program. He was a winner the first time around. I think that he can win again now. So I'm all in on Will Wade because they weren't getting anybody else. Yeah. It was Will Wade or bust. Like they weren't doing a national search.
It was Will Wade or go back to Matt McMahon.
Matt McMahon. So you only had two options there. Will Wade made the NCAA tournament at NC State this year. He made it 2 years before that at McNeese. So he knows how to get to the tournament. I don't care if they win like a national championship. I mean, it'd be nice. I'm not even thinking Final Fours. I just want to see them back. Yeah. In the NCAA tournament, and I think he can deliver that.
If you take out the COVID year, he made the tournament 6 straight years. I mean, that's pretty solid, especially for a program that, without him on the bench, has missed the tournament 4.
Yeah, 3 different schools.
Years. Yeah.
It's not easy to do.
So he has really promised the moon to LSU fans, and he's promised it to them from day one. Can he get this team, one, to the tournament? And again, it comes down to NIL money. They're going to spend money, blah, blah, blah. But how far can he get them in that first year? But what's the expectation? What does the expectation have to be?
They can easily be a tournament team. The rosters change 70 to 80, sometimes 90% year over year. And that's across the league, not just at LSU. So if you can change that many guys, and he's got the financial backing, which he had previously, there was the, Wade's Army or whatever, those guys, a couple rich guys who are very much attached to basketball, especially attached to Will. And the idea that he can get that kind of NIL budget, increase the amount of money, be competitive in the SEC, he's proven that if he's got the talent, he can win. I don't think there's any question about that. He did it at McNeese. He did it at NC State. He obviously did it at LSU. Whether or not he can get the money to where you're competing at the very top of the league, I think they're not quite there yet.
It feels like he may have to overpay a little bit, don't you think?
Probably will to some degree to show
He did say that yesterday. Look, I'm going to have to pay a lot of money in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be some sticker shock. That's just the way it's going to be to get this program back to where you want it to be right away.
Well, it's not going to be as cheap as it was the first time around,
of course not.
when nobody else was paying. But it will require him, and he's got a base, which most guys who walk into a job do not have that base. He has a base that financially he can go to, and they can build a roster. And this is a different planet, and one that he is well equipped for more than most, certainly more than Matt McMahon ever was.
Yeah, 7-6 last year the LSU football team was. They put up $40 million in NIL money. I expect the LSU football team to be in the playoffs. Now, are they going to get? They're not going to get anything close to that in basketball. I think Kentucky was reported to have $22 million this past year in NIL. Didn't work out. They had a bunch of one-year mercenaries that, though they did get to the second round, so it was okay for them. But they expect to go to Final Fours. If you can get like 10, 12 million, which I think they can drum up, then I think they can turn this around right now. The SEC is for the taking. Any team, I think, in any given year, if you put the right money and you have good coaching, you can get in there. So I expect a year from now, we're talking about the LSU Tigers in the men's NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it's good to have all the money to spend, but you have to make sure you spend it wisely because, again, you mentioned Kentucky. That's a team. If you're going to spend that money, and when Calipari was there, he couldn't spend the money, but he had a plan that these are one-and-done guys. This is the way I'm going to go. And now it seems like all of college basketball is one-and-done guys, year-to-year contracts. Meanwhile, the UNO Privateers, it's been a while since they've been in the NCAA tournament. Are they on the right path to get themselves a bid with Stacy Hollowell?
They've got the right coach. I have no doubt in my mind they've got the right coach. What Stacy Hollowell was able to do in getting them from a 4-win team to fourth place in the conference last year was a monumental coaching job. There was a million distractions that could have, really put this program off the rails the last 2 seasons, and he did a great job navigating it. X's and O's. He won a national championship at Loyola. I'm firmly convinced they have the bones to compete at the top of that conference. They've got the right arena. They've got a good city. They've got the right coach. Now, they're transitioning into LSU. By this time next year, we'll be calling them LSU New Orleans. It'll be LSU UNO. It will be a very different world, and one that I think right now what is so hard to figure out is what it means. I don't think they really have a lot of understanding as exactly what their budgets are, where they're going to be, who's running things. I think there's going to be a lot of change as that transition occurs before July 1st. And right now, as you enter the transfer portal season, everybody in the country is building their roster, and they're basically changing ownership. They don't know a lot. They have a lot of unanswered questions. So if Stacy Hollowell can get the resources and get the answers that he needs, I do think he's the right guy in place. What it means for next season will be very challenging.
One, you saw the gym at Loyola when he was there, and they won a national championship. That's not a college basketball arena. It's a high school gym, and he won there. So I'm with Scott. He's a winner everywhere he's been. There is some constraints financially that are going to get in front of him. It took Coach Slush a while. Now they got into the first 4, but that still counts as the NCAA tournament. Got there 9 years ago. I don't know about next year, but they can definitely get it going forward.
I think the biggest concern, and correct me if I'm wrong, is Hollowell getting so frustrated because there's not financial backing at UNO that he can't go out and get decent players to keep this program going forward. And that he says, you know what, I've tried here, I've tried, it's time to move on to someplace else and become an assistant coach on a bigger team's bench. That, to me, is the bigger concern with UNO, because how much commitment are they going to make out there when you don't know how things are going to transfer over?
Yeah, and that's why there's so many question marks at the moment, because we don't know what LSU is going to be. We know the last 20 years of UNO as a university, certainly as an athletic department, was retreat. Retreat, retreat, retreat. Cut, and try to survive till tomorrow. And now with LSU running it, a place that has real resources and is fully invested in this university, in this plot of land, and they do not want this thing to fail. The board of LSU did not acquire UNO in order for it to wither away and fail. They got it so that they can rebuild it into a place that doesn't have 5,000 students, but closer to the 18,000 they had before Katrina. It is a real possibility, and if you put the resources toward it and the LSU board decides to step up and support it, they can be easily the best team in this conference. It is probably the best job in this conference if you consider what's possible, but it's a question of what the LSU board is willing to put up front. Can they, chicken and egg kind of situation. in that I think you've got a lot of things in place, but are they going to support it in the way they could? They've got good people there. They've got smart people there. LSU has been through a renaissance of itself in Baton Rouge, the amount of applicants, everything else. They've got a really big opportunity in front of them at UNL.
Get ready for this next year. They're going to be in purple and gold uniforms, the Privateers. So that's going to be something that's going to be definitely different. I just think another thing is standing in their way is just support. Scott and I talked about this right before. I went and covered a game this year. Not a lot of butts in the stands, okay? Like not in the seats.
Been that way for years.
Yeah, that's still just going to be a big problem going forward is just getting fans out there.
Yeah, meanwhile, Tulane, they're over 3 decades since the last time they were in March Madness. 7 years in a row with no postseason play under Ron Hunter. He's still there. 1, are you surprised? And 2, what kind of commitment is there from the administration there for men's basketball? Or basketball in general?
I think the commitment isn't bad. They're paying Ron Hunter $1.4 million, I believe.
So is this more about they don't want to pay the buyout?
I think when the buyout's close to $5 million, you got to think about where $5 million can do at Tulane. And that was a mistake that predates, David Harris, that extending Ron Hunter. I don't think anybody was going to go out and hire him. The only reason you increase a buyout and extend a contract, you're worried about somebody else poaching him. I don't think anybody was going out and poaching him. And so that was a mistake that Troy Danon made on his way out the door, rewarding his guy. But now you're just stuck. I mean, the system doesn't work. The league has gotten significantly worse over the last few years with Houston and UCF and Cincinnati leaving. And even Memphis has kind of taken a big step back. And so you're in a 1-bid conference. You're paying your coach a lot of money. You've got a gym that doesn't really, inspire anybody to show up or to invest in it. And they're in a really hard spot. And to bring him back for an 8th season when he has not done anything to drum up any enthusiasm to this point is a really bad position to be entering a new season.
One, he has 2 years left on his contract. That's the main reason he's back. LSU had the appetite of getting rid of McMahon and buying him out and bringing in Will Wade. There's not that appetite. Right now, uptown, there's only one program. LSU football, the Tulane baseball team, again, is going to have to fight through the tournament to get into the postseason. They're not going to get into an at-large. So that's the only program on campus that wins.
So how many teams from Louisiana make the tournament next year as we project the year ahead?
I would say 2.
All right.
I think LSU will make it, and I think McNeese has still got the power in the Southland.
I'm going to go 3. Last year, the past year just passed, Louisiana Tech and Southern got to the finals. Now Louisiana Tech is going to join the Sun Belt. So I'll throw a 3rd in there, okay? Maybe between Louisiana and Louisiana Tech, one of those gets in. So I'll say 3. But McNeese is just an absolute beast. They got a beautiful arena. Their budget's way bigger than UNO is right now. Maybe I'll say Privateers, maybe in 2028, they'll make the big dance.
We'll see.
We'll keep tabs on that one.
Yeah, McNeese benefited from Will Wade putting an expectation there, and now they have that same expectation.